Hello everyone. In today's session, we'll see templates in C++. To illustrate the concepts, I'll share the screen where I'll be executing the code snippets. Okay, I'll be using an online compiler to illustrate the concepts of template. Before going into templates, let me see or let us tell you what is the use of templates actually in C++. Okay. Consider a function which actually returns the largest among two characters. So I'll write function large, which takes two characters x and then character y. Okay, it takes two characters x and y, and then it should return the largest. I'll use a ternary operator to find the largest among the two characters. So write x greater than y question mark, since it's a ternary operator. If it's true, it has to return x, or else it has to return y. So I've written a function which takes two characters as input in the form of an argument, and then it returns the largest character. Okay. And then I'll write the function call inside a cout so that the value written by the function is directly printed. So I'll write largest character, and then we'll pass the characters to that particular function. So let me pass a one character. As you know, character has to be given in single quotes. I'll be passing a, and then I'll be passing c. We'll write endl so that next statements are separated by a new line. Let me run this particular piece of code. Okay, so if you can see the output, it is the largest character is C. Among A and C, the largest character is C. It actually compares the ASCII values whenever it's been given to relational operator for comparison. And then based on the ASCII value, we have actually got that C is the largest character among A and C in the small case. Okay, so is it possible for me to write or call the same function largest on integers? So is it possible for me to call the same function on integers? Clear? What I'm speaking about is, so is it possible for me to pass two integers to the function, and will it give me the same result? That is, will it tell that 9 is the largest based on this particular input which I've passed? So let me run this and see. So if you can see here, no, it's not displaying because it's been designed to work only on characters. It's not been designed to work on integers. So if I have to make it work on integers, I should be writing another function. For example, I'll write function large. I'll write I for integers, and let me write differentiate this as C for characters, and then it should take two integers, int x, and then I'll write int y. Okay, and then the same code actually I can use here, same piece of code you can use here. So okay, and then here I'll change the function names. One is for characters, another is for integers. So now if I run this particular code, you can see here I've got the answer. Okay, same way if I want one floating point numbers, if I want to find the largest among floating point numbers, so I'll write here largest floating value. So I'll be passing 7.2, and I'll be passing 7.9. So if you see here, I'm passing these floating point numbers to the function which takes integers as argument. So what happens here is it goes for cutting the decimal part. So it thinks that I'm passing 7 and 7. So it will return the answer as 7 itself, which is wrong actually, because according to the parameters which have passed, according to the actual parameters which have passed, the answer should be 7.9. But since our function is designed on integers, while passing the parameter as floating point, it goes into truncation, and then x will get 7 and y will get 7. 0.2 and 0.9 are actually truncated and removed. So we'll run this program and we'll see. semantically a wrong value as an output we have got. It's not a syntax error. It's semantic error. Why? Because we're getting the output, but it's a wrong output. So how do I correct it? So what I have to do, I have to change this particular function, and I have to have another function which works on floating point numbers. So I should have float. So let me change the name of the function. I'll make it as f, and it'll take not integers numbers, it'll take floating point numbers. Okay. So now if I call this particular floating point large function on these two values and then run this particular piece of code, so you can see here I'm getting the correct answer. But if you see here, all the three codes are actually same. The logics in all the three codes are exactly same. Only thing is the data types are changing. So it's a repetitive task of doing the largest among two parameters which we have passed. And if there are n different types, I need to be writing n different functions. To avoid this, we have the concept of templates in C++. So I'll illustrate that and I'll show the program in another window. Okay, so we'll copy paste that previous code so that we can do changes in that. I'll change the compiler to C++. Okay. Yes. So we'll do the changes here. So what I'll do here is I'll make it as a template function. So see the procedure. How do I make it as a template function? I need to use a keyword template. Then I'll be using another keyword called type name. And then I'll be writing T. Then I'll be writing here return type as T, and the argument is also T. And place of characters, I'll be writing T. So you can see here, I've written only one function, a one template function. It's also called as generic functions. Template functions are also called as generic functions. It's a template function which I've actually written, or it is also called as a generic function. Generic functions. The name says that write one function, it gets applied to any kind of data type. So if you can see here, I have largest character, largest integers, and then largest floating point. Since it is a generic function, I'll write the name as fun large G. So everywhere I'll be calling the same function, but the parameters what I'm passing are different. Once I'm passing characters, once I'm passing integers, and once I'm passing floating point numbers, but the function remains same. Clear? Okay, let me run this and see what's the output, what we are getting. Okay, so if you see here, we're getting the correct answer. The same answer what we got in last piece of code. Clear? But if you see the last program which we have done, it was having three functions. You can see here, the number of lines are more. There are three functions which are doing that job. One for characters, one for integers, one for floating point. But if you see my current program with the use of template, there is only one function written, a generic function, and which gets applied to any kind of data type, and it produces the same answer. So these are one kind of templates in C++. So if I have to tell, there are two kinds of templates in C++. I'll put it in a command section and I'll write the theory part. Okay, so whenever I say templates in C++, so there are two kinds of templates in C++. Function templates we call. One is function templates. Okay, another is class templates. Making a function as a template function is called as function templates, and making a class as a template class is called as class templates. Function templates are also called as generic functions. Generic functions, and they are quoted as generic classes. Generic classes. They are quoted as generic classes. So there are two kinds of templates usage in C. One kind we have seen here, that is a template function. Another kind is template class. Okay. Some variations in this template function we'll see. As you can see here, both are of same type, which I'm passing. It should be of same type, or else it gives me a problem because I'm taking only one t here. Fine. Okay. If I have to pass, if I have to find largest among two, or if I have to display something, fine. So we'll see another piece of code where we can have different arguments of templates type. So we'll see that in the next piece of code. Okay. So we'll go for C++. Yes. What I'll have is I'll have a template function. So it has to display something. So I'll have template, and you can see the keyword I wrote type name. You can also have keyword class used here. It accepts two keywords. Either you can write type name or you can write class. It's one and the same. Okay. So I'll write a void function now. Void function show. It's a generic function. So I'll write G and I'll write T X. Okay. And then I'll write cout value of X is X. Simple. I've written a function which will just display the parameter which I've actually passed to it. So let me go for calling the function. So that is function show generic. So let me call it with the character once, or let me call it with the integers. It has to work. It has to work for all of them because it's a generic function. Fine. And once I'll call it with a floating point value also. So I'll run 7.2. So if you see here, there is a generic function whose job is to just print the parameter which is being passed. Once I'm calling it with a character, once with an integer, and another time with a floating point number. And if I run this particular code, it tells value of X is A, value of X is 9, value of X is 7.2 based on the parameters which have been passed. Now, if I have to display two different kinds in a same function, for example, I want to display A and I want to display one integer 9, or if I want to display 9 and I want to display one floating point 9.9, or if I have to display 7.2 and one character, for example, C. So now what happens is, if you see here, one is of type character, another is of type integer. Both are of different types. So if I write once again T Y, assuming that the second one is of Y, and then I'll write a cout statement. Okay, we'll print here itself with the space. Value of Y put it in double quotes as it's a textual data. What I'm doing is I'm printing the value of Y also here. So it looks like a bit confusing because if you see T, one is X, another is Y. So what it assumes is both are of same type. So now if I'm passing it like this, for example, one is A, another is 9, it is getting confused. It's an error. But if I pass both as characters, it will work. For example, we'll run this and we'll see what's the error it is actually showing. Okay, so if you can see here, it is mismatching. Why? Because one is with the character, another is an integer, and one is an integer, another is a float. So there are mismatches here. So in these cases, how do I execute the function is, I'll write class T and then I'll write class P, and I'll make T as my X and Y is being taken as P. So now what happens, X can be of any type, Y can be of any type. It is not compulsory that both X and Y has to be of same type because they don't belong to same T or same P. Clear? Okay. Now if I run this particular code, you can see here there is no error. A 9 is getting printed, 9.9 is getting printed, 7.2 and C is getting printed. So these are the different ways how you can have multiple parameters and in generic classes. Fine. Okay. So this is a procedure for doing that. If both parameters are of same type, if both parameters are of same type, then I could have written, for example, I don't want this particular thing. So if both parameters are of same type, I would have removed class, just T I would have written, and I would have written T Y. It would have worked if both are of same type. For example, 9 also I'll make it as a character, and here I'll make 7, and this one I'll make 7.9. Now if you see in the function call, I'm making both of them as of same type. That's why I've used same T here. So now if I run this, it will work. See, it is getting worked. It's showing me the output. Why? Because both are of same type. But in case if I want for different types, one is integer, another is a character, or one is a integer, another is a float, or between a float and a character. So in these cases, what I have to usually do is I have to have another argument, which is of different type. So I'll be naming it as P. So this particular second argument, I'll take it as P. Now, X can be of any type, Y can be of any type. It need not be of same type. So if I run this, okay, so we're getting the output. So these are the second type of generic functions which we have seen, which takes multiple arguments of different types. Now we'll see generic classes. Fine. Okay, so we'll execute it in another screen. So usually, for example, if I have a class A, I have written a class A, and then in the public section, let me have one integer X. Let me have a character itself. So let me have a character CH. Okay, and then let me have a constructor for A. So see, I've written character X, whatever I'm passing. Okay, so in the constructor, I'm initializing my member. So I'm making whatever we have passed is being given to CH. And then we'll have one function. So to display that particular character, so I'll be writing show of A, and then I'll be displaying cout show of A. For my reference, I'm writing this textual data. So show of A CH value. So what is the value of that particular character? So that is CH and L. So if you see here, I have made it work like this. So there is a class A, and then there is a public member, that is one data member, that is a character type, and a constructor for initializing that. And then we also have a method which is used for displaying that particular value. So how do I create the object of a class? So I'll write name of a class. So A1 is an object of the class. So I have to pass a character. So let me pass the character as V. That's it. And then if I want to show the value of that, so I'll be calling A1 dot show A. So simple. So this I've done. So we'll run this and we'll see the code. Okay. So if you see here, successfully I've got my answer. Show of A, the character is actually V. See, the value of that particular CH is V. Now, assume that I'm creating another object, A2, and I'm passing a floating point number to it. Passing a floating point number to it, and I'm calling A2 dot show A. I've written it with respect to character, but I'm passing a floating point number to it. So let me run this piece of code. Okay, so if you see here, no answer. Logically, it's wrong. Why? Because it is meant to take a character and I'm actually passing a floating point number. To solve this, what I have to write? I should write another class where instead of character, it takes a floating point number. So to avoid this particular type of problems, we go for template classes. So we'll write it in another screen. What is a template class? Okay, so I'll copy paste the same piece of code and we'll do changes in that piece of code in the next screen. Okay, so let me choose my compiler as C++, and then I'll copy paste the same code. So if you see, I'll run once again. So we'll come to know what's the problem. The problem is that it's giving me problem when I'm passing a different data type. Fine. So it is giving me a logically wrong answer. That is, it's not displaying anything. Fine. Okay. So how do I correct it? So I'll make it as a generic class. How to make it as a generic class? So I'll make template and then class T. So what I'll do here, instead of character ch, I'll write tch. Instead of character ch, I'll write tch. And then instead of wherever I have a character, I'll be replacing it with t. And here also I have a character, so I'll replace it with t. Okay. So now if you see here, the same program, I've not changed anything. Only thing is I've made my particular class as a generic class. I've made it as a generic class. Generic class where this data member can take any type. It can be a character, it can be an integer, it can be a float. So we'll run this piece of code now. Okay, so now if you can see here, we have got the output. So this is what is templates in C++. Very interesting concept, templates in C++, which will avoid our number of lines in the code, which will make our classes as generic. That means my class is now capable enough to take any kind of data for this particular ch based on what I've passed from main. Or else I should have written multiple classes, one for character, one for float, one for integer. Now it is capable of taking integer also. For example, if I write A3 and if I pass 7, and if I call A3 dot show A3 dot show A, and I'll run this particular piece of code. See, I've got the answer with respect to integer also. So it is working with respect to character, it's working with respect to floating point, it's working with respect to integer also. Now we are having only one data member in this particular class. What if we want data members of multiple types? So how do I change that? So let me write it in another screen. Okay, so let me choose the compiler as C++. So initially I'll copy paste this particular code so that we'll do changes here itself. Okay. So I'm telling that I want a different data members. So what I can do here is I can write class T, class P, and then I can have P ch2. So first one I'll write ch1, second one I write ch2. Then I can have P y, and then I can assign ch1 is equal to x, and then ch2 is equal to y. Y is of different type I can give, and then I'll be showing both of them, ch1, and then we'll go for ch2. We'll give a space and we'll write ch2 value ch2. So both I'm actually printing. Fine. So we'll change the statements also here. Same class, but it is having multiple data members and both are of generic types. T can take any data type, P can take any data type. So here I'll be passing one is V, another is I'll be passing 9. One is V, another is 9. So let me run this piece of code. So you can see here, it is printed both V as well as 9. I can have any different types, two different types for this particular class. For example, in object A2, let me pass one as integer 7, another as integer 6 float 6.3, and then let me call show A2 dot show A. Okay, so A2 dot show A is the next type which I've actually given it here. So let me run this piece of code. Yes, we're getting the answer. So if you can see here, one is an integer, another is a floating point. Same way, I can also have it for between float and character also. So we'll see that also. Okay, so we'll create the next object, that is A3. One is a floating point, so I'll write 7.2. Another is a character. So let me write the character 7.2. Okay, so one is a floating point, another is a character, and then let me call A3 dot show, and then I'll run the piece of code. So you can see here, one is V and 9 because of first object, another is 7 and 6.3 because of the second object, another is 7.2 and the character is this one. Clear, right? So you can see here, it has got display the ASCII value of that particular thing, what I've actually sent here. Fine. Okay. So if I have to see the difference, the character itself without the ASCII conversion. So what I'll do here is I'll write P and then I'll run so that it avoids confusion in the output, which you actually see. So you can see here, it has taken it as a character and it has been displayed. So this is what is template classes in C++. So we have two different kinds of templates in C++. One is generic functions, another is template class. Okay, sometimes we can also have in this template particular integer to be passed. For example, I'll write integer yum. In some places you actually see, it's of no use, but some places you can actually see. So if you're having a m, then that has to be utilized in your particular class. So what I can do here is I can have int size of something is equal to yum. I can actually do like this. So I can actually pass. So what it is telling is, okay, there is an m. So I'll comment it and show you what happens if I do like this. And if I run this particular piece of code, if I run this, you can see the problem here. It's an error. Why? Because in your template, there was an integer which you were actually supposed to pass, but you did not utilize it anywhere. So how do I solve this particular problem? So what you have to do is you have to utilize that integer. So what I'm doing here is I'm passing an integer, which is the template class, and I'm using it to initialize my size component. And that size component is an integer because here I have not used a generic type. I've used a integer type, a specified data type. So now if I run, it gives me another kind of problem. So we'll see what is it. Okay. So if you see here, it is again throwing another kind of problem. Why? Because I have two different types here in the constructor. What is it? One is for character, that is a generic type T, and another generic type P. But we have not given anything for this particular yum. So what we have to do is whenever we have such kind of generic classes where you've used a specific type, you should tell that the first one, what I'm actually passing is a character. The second one, what I'm passing is a integer. And third is not a data type. I'm passing a number. Third is not a data type. I'm passing a number. So let me pass the number as 63. I'm passing a number 63. Fine. So I should be telling that in every place, I should be telling what is the first type. So first type is an integer. What's the second type? Second type is a, so in C++, we have double. So second type is a double. And what is the third type? It's a numeric value. So I'll be passing again 63 only I'll pass. Okay. So I within angular brackets, I have to be specifying it. So I'll be first one is a float, second one is a character, and third one is one integer. So now what happens is first one is a character, it takes b. Second one is an integer, it takes 9. Third one 63, it gives for m. So my size will become 63. So if you want, you can print that and see here. Okay, we'll print it in the same line and we'll see the difference here itself. By giving a space, I'll print it. So I have to print the value of size. So size size, and its value is size. So in the same output statement, I'm printing ch1, ch2, and then size also I'm actually printing it here. Fine. Or else I should have taken it in the constructor. Now I'm not taking it in the constructor. I've taken it in a generic call itself. Clear? Okay. So let me run this particular piece of code now. Okay. So you can see here, I'm getting the answer. So what it took, first one it took is v, that is of character, second was an integer, and then it was expecting something to be passed, a number to be passed for m, and what we passed 63, so it got assigned to your size. So these kinds of templates are also possible. It's not compulsory that in your generic class you should have everything as a generic type. You can also have specific data types also, but we don't use such kind of generic classes. Usually we keep it general so that it can take any kind of data type. So this was the concept of templates in C++. Hope the session was interesting and you could grab something on templates in C++. In case of any queries you have on this particular topic, which I've actually explained in today's session, you can actually write to my mail any queries if you have. So I'll drop my mail ID. Okay. So this is my mail ID. If you have any queries, you can mail me. So you can feel free to give or tell your queries also, and I would be happy to consider the suggestions also on this particular topic. So generic classes and then generic functions was today's topic. And why do we go for generic class and then generic functions? So that one single function works on different types. Instead of writing different functions for different types, I can have a single function working on different types, or I can have a single class accepting different kinds of data. And how do I use it? I've illustrated in this piece of codes which I've executed. In case of any queries, do revert back on this particular email ID. Thank you, and then see you in the next session.